And was you exposed to it at like someone's home, or did you look at it online? Or
Well, my sponsor who brought me into the industry, we had known each other. Actually, we would see each other in passing at like the grocery stores.
Yeah.
Both of us were moms, wives. We always had our kids, and we always say, you know what, girl, we got to do lunch one day. Let's just go, have dinner. And we never could because neither one of us never had time.
Okay.
We was always picking up the kids from the daycare and things like that.
Yep.
And so we became friends. We actually met in a mommy group on Facebook, and we became friends.
Yep.
And I had been following her. So I kind of saw what she was doing, and I was like, okay, this is interesting.
Yeah.
And so she reached out to me. The first time she reached out to me, I guess it was nerves or mindset. I just wasn't ready. I was like, I'll let you know. I'll think about it. But the more and more I kept watching, and I started seeing she was doing things that I desired to do. She was able to eat lunch with her kids at school. I could not do that. It took me 2 hours to get to work in Atlanta and 2 hours to get home.
Oh, wow.
I had no time freedom.
4-hour commute.
Yes, somebody else was raising my child.
Yeah.
I used to have to take the kids to daycare at 5 a.m. We'd be the first car there because I used to actually work out here.
Yeah.
And so to get back and forth, and I'm like, let me go ahead and take a chance on this. So she actually reached out to me again, and I said, okay, it's not going to come around the second time, and it's not meant for me.
Yeah.
And so we talked, and I didn't even really have to see much. I just knew, I felt in my gut, this is for me. And so I went with it. I said, okay. But I signed up immediately off conversation, but I did eventually get exposed to going to a meeting.
Wow. It seemed like it's kind of similar to how we got exposed to network marketing and got into it, because I actually got exposed early 2011. And I went to a hotel meeting.
Okay.
That a guy actually invited me to, and I saw it, and I was like, oh, okay. And this was in the telecom and energy before I got into travel later. And I didn't get started immediately. It actually took him to invite me to another meeting, which actually was at one of the millionaires in the company's big house. And when I saw her lifestyle alongside the business, I was like, you know what? I'm about to go on and get in this.
Yeah.
Right? So, seemed like we both had got to get exposed a couple of times before we actually took action. Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's talk a little bit about, though, your journey since you've been in network marketing. When you first got in, I mean, did you blow it out the water or did it take some time or let's talk a little bit about that.
No, I did not blow it out the water. It's travel. So, I did want to travel. That was one thing that, sparked my interest is the fact I love to travel, but I couldn't travel.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Saving on travel, making money, it just made sense.
Yeah.
So I immediately kind of dived in on the product with doing travel.
Okay.
I didn't have an audience, like that. I had friends and family and things like that. But I was I guess the life of the party. So anybody know if I do something, it's going to be a good time. Yeah. So I started kind of teasing and putting little trips out there and things like that. And before you know it, it started to blow up. So I'll say maybe about a good 6 months in, I put together bus trips like down to St. Patrick's. That's a big thing here in Atlanta. Yeah. Going down there. I did big cruises. And then I started doing big tailgates. One of my tailgates scaled 100 people. We had the whole north side drive on lock. Yeah. And so it started taking off in that part. Once I started doing that, I realized I can bring a crowd, but from the business aspect, I felt like I didn't have the influence because I'm like, okay, because network marketing, come do business with me. Let me show you how to do this. Right. And most people was more so we're going to take trips and we're going to have fun. And so I had to tweak some things, do some self-development. And once I did that, then it started to really take off for me.
Gotcha. What are some things you did in regards to self-development, you would say?
I did a lot of, I'm a firm believer in, reading something positive. So I read a lot of books. I watched a lot of YouTube videos, your Tony Robbins, your Eric Thomas, Lisa Nichols, all of them, Les Brown. And then my company also had a lot of things in place for us. So I made sure I was front and center at the different meetings and the different trainings and things. I challenged myself. I wasn't afraid. I got out of my comfort zone because I had never you know, what I am now in my business is a director, and that's leading an organization, a team of people. I had never really done that per se, you know, being the example and helping to coach and train and mentor people. And I knew in order for me to do that, I had to self-develop myself. And so reading those books and just kind of diving in, and I made discipline and sacrifice. You know, I tell people, you know, my schedule was crazy because I was doing it part-time, but I would put my kids to bed early. No more housewives. I turned all that off, and now I'm reading my books. You know, and I would go to bed late, and then I literally just became obsessed with it.
Gotcha. Yeah, that sacrifice is definitely key. And I always told people, even when I was in network marketing, it's a personal development type of business attached with a compensation plan.
Yep.
Right.
Absolutely.
And so it's great to see that, you know, you, like you say, cut out the housewives and start picking up the books and developing. Boy, that's great stuff. And talk about that here, Brandy, you know, for any moms that might be looking at this in regards to how you go about balancing motherhood, doing business, you know, in other parts of your life.
Yeah, you know, honestly, being transparent, it was a little challenging in the beginning because I had mommy guilt. I didn't like the fact I had to go to meetings. I traveled a lot and I had to leave the kids behind. But in doing research and connecting with other mothers that can relate to me, what I found is, you know, you want to get your family's buy-in. You want to let your kids know, hey, listen, mommy is doing this because... And when I come back, this is what I'm going to do. So it's kind of like an exchange.
Gotcha.
And so I got their support. I included them. And so they felt like, okay, I'm not being neglected, or, you know, mommy doesn't care. She's putting her business first. But I explained to them the importance of what I was doing and how I was building. And sometimes, you know, my son, he would sit at my feet and listen. As a matter of fact, I tell people, you know, my son was 2 when I first started. My daughter was around 11, I believe. And now to this day, both of them have entrepreneur mindsets. My daughter has a very successful hair business.
That's great stuff.
And even though she is going to college, she wants to be an attorney, but her first love was, she's like, mommy, I want to be a business owner. And she went right in. And now she just doesn't want to be an attorney. Now she wants to have her own firm, you know, and have other attorneys work for her.
There you go. I love it.
Yeah, my son, he just set up his gaming where he's like, you know what, mom, I want to be a gamer. And so I'm instilling in him, maybe the engineer part, you can create a game. And so, you know, I got the benefits from that with them watching me and having them included in what I'm doing. And it is tough. You know, I let moms know it's not easy, especially me, because I have separation, or I had separation anxiety when they were little. And so, you know, building a business and having to be away. But I knew, you know, my why I was doing this. And so, like I said, I just made that exchange with them and let them know, hey, this is why mommy's doing it.
There you go.